that's very important that you quantify what personal branding really is in your space.
How you feel about yourself and what you say about yourself internally and things like that affect your ability on a professional level. When it comes to personal branding, we have a choice of influencing how people feel about us.
Welcome to Be Bold Branding, where we discuss the power of differentiating yourself through your own unique story and standout personal brand.
Hello.
We're alive, ladies and gentlemen.
And today, hey, this is a fun one today. We're going to talk about some famous personal brands. You've heard their names. You've seen their faces. You've actually followed them for years, okay? So what we're talking about are three of the most famous personal brands in the coaching world, right? Today, we're going to talk about why they're famous, learn why they're recognizable and so successful, and also learn how that can help you understand your own personal brand and journey to become top of mind in your industry, right? So we're going to kind of steal some things about them. We're going to learn about them a little bit, and we're going to steal some things from them, right? Okay, we're going to start with probably the most famous one of all time.
Yeah, Tony Robbins, man. You can't talk about coaching. You can't talk about personal branding. You cannot talk about the face of your brand without knowing Tony Robbins. Now listen, I grew up with Tony Robbins. All right. A lot of you people like getting started, y'all might not even know who the dude was until, you started getting on the internet. I grew up with him. Late night infomercials. Right. I had 3 stations at our house that we could get when I was growing up, and Tony was on 2 of them. Like late night guy. I mean, this dude was flying jets and driving Lamborghinis. Literally right after they invented the dadgum things. I mean, none of this rented stuff and none of it. I mean, super legit. I remember when he sold the package for you to be able to go to like Milan, France and drive the Lamborghini experience with, Milan, Italy with, but you remember the Lamborghini driving experience, right? Yes. I mean, it was a big deal. I mean, Tony was the man. Awaken the Giant Within. That's probably his biggest seller. It's probably the greatest thing that he did. He grew up in North Hollywood. He's the nation's #1 life and business strategist. He's known for being a leader even called upon by other leaders on how they can perfect their process and really reach their ultimate success personally and professionally. Sort of broke the mold in personal and professional, like he really did. Absolutely. It wasn't just about business for him. It was really about a lot of self-growth. And I mean, that's why he was so awesome. That's why he's still awesome. He's incredible. He's still my favorite by far and the most legit that I've ever known. He's like, be your ultimate self, leave behind the excuses, face the challenges head on. I just love him. I think he's incredible.
I think he's incredible too. And I have to say that we've been interviewed on a lot of podcasts, and people will always say, what book really kind of changed, changed who you are or helped you more than any other book? And I would say in terms of the coaching books of the world, it was definitely Awaken the Giant Within. I was probably in my 20s when I first picked up that book, and I thought it was the greatest thing. And there was one part of that book that really helped me more than anything, and it was, you can make a decision in a moment. Why are you waiting for something else to happen, to feel good, to do good, to be good?
Make that decision right now.
Make it now, and the rest of your life starts right now based on that decision.
Yeah, right? Like if we'd have been around, we could have told him, be bold about it. You know what I mean? And then he, because that's really the case.
Yeah, he would have stolen our be bold.
Listen, he can scream be bold all he wants. I mean, I'd love it. All right, go ahead, Tony. You have our permission. Scream be bold and give it to Michael and Tanya since we come up with it. But the thought process really and truly, though, that I really liked about him, I've always liked about him, is just how he can turn things on their head and how he really is like, get started and go do it. And so for many of you, I know, like, you'll pass over this and you'll be like, yeah, whatever. I can't be Tony Robbins, right? Well, guess what? You weren't designed to be Tony Robbins. You were designed to be whoever you are, but you can be Tony Robbins to somebody. And that's the point of personal branding, really and truly, is like putting your ultimate self out there for the people that need it. And you don't have to rise to some superstardom like Tony Robbins. you can, if you're willing to put in the hours he put in and spend the money he's put in, but you can be that to somebody, you know? So I think that's very important that you quantify what personal branding really is in your space, especially if you're a coach, right? And if you're looking to say, hey, I want these huge numbers, I hope you get them. And we can actually help you get there. But you got to really start off with saying, I hope I can help somebody, right? And I think that's the biggest takeaway. And I would say he would say the exact same thing. Like, you know, I remember one of the things he taught in one of his open forums was a situation, and it was like a family situation or whatever. But the point that he made was, and he'll say it even in his book, he had a rough relationship with his mom, but his mom carried that space to help him become better, to help him become who he was supposed to be, to help a whole lot of other people. And he's helped, you know, hundreds of millions now by those lessons that he learned. And so can you. You might just help the neighbor next door. You might do some more business. So you got to quantify it. I think that's really important. I think he'd say the same thing.
And I think the takeaway for you and your own personal brand when it comes to Tony Robbins is he was really the first one on a global scale to really pull together the professional and the personal side of things, and realizing how much the personal side of things and how you feel about yourself and what you say about yourself internally and things like that affect your ability on a professional level. And mixing those two, that's what you got to think about when it comes to your own brand.
You do. And I got to say one more thing about the dude, just because I love him so much. He didn't have no internet, guys.
No,
this dude did it globally before internet was even thought of. So,
That's
I mean,
true.
hats off to Tony. He's the man.
He's the man. All right. Number 2, you can't even talk about coaching these days without talking about Gary Vaynerchuk.
Gary V. Everybody knows Gary V.
Everybody knows Gary V. Well, I love the guy. He grew up in Queens. Okay. He worked in his dad's liquor store and he launched something called Wine Library. It was on YouTube. Where
Super smart.
It was so smart.
Super
he
smart.
reviewed wine every single day for 5 years. What paired well with what, what the, properties of the wine were, the flavor profiles, things like that. And he became known that way. And then he realized, oh, shoot, this marketing thing's incredible. Like if we really put these things out there on various different platforms, and if we keep putting it out there. So he's known for 2 things, in my opinion. His hustle.
Definitely his hustle.
He's incredible at hustling. He's also known for content creation, a massive amount of content creation. I don't even know how many people he has on his team right now.
The last report I heard, he had 27 just content writers.
Just content writers.
Yeah.
And he will tell you he's not doing enough content.
That's what I love about it. So when you look at his history, what you see here is a guy that was really a visionary to what was possible for the internet, right? Different than Tony. He grabbed a hold of a tool that he thought, okay, I'm going to do this and it can gain some traction. And then he realized, oh my goodness, this is much larger than I could ever see. And I would say that out of all of the people that are in the space, and definitely the 3 examples that we have here today, nobody understands that more than him.
That's
like,
true.
because he, like exactly what you just said, he's like, look, if I have 20 something people, nearly 30 people writing content for me, what are you doing? And I've heard him say that from the stage several times. You got to be out there with your personal brand, and nobody knows that better than him. And this is the reason why he says it. He's afraid it ain't enough.
Right.
Like he's afraid it ain't enough. So imagine somebody, such an icon, so huge, such a visionary, so ahead of his time, and he's still saying, like, y'all need to realize, like, this is a sea, and we're not even a bucket in the sea.
No, we're not.
No.
And and something I really love about him personally is he's all about content, business, content. But he's also very much in tune with your personal self.
Yeah.
I see him give advice all the time about stop worrying about what everybody else thinks about you.
Yeah.
And I'm not going to drop the words he drops here, but
that's the other thing. He's able to do like that. Wow. I'm like,
but that's who he is. Right?
Love it. I mean, he lives who he is.
It's authentic to who he truly is. And he tells people, don't worry about what everybody else thinks. You do your thing, but do it big. Work hard at it.
Yes.
Don't give up. Like he probably has the biggest heart of anybody that I know of in the coaching world, because he comes across as this gruff guy, grew up in Queens, and slinging the F-bomb around and going up on stage everywhere and telling people to hustle, hustle, hustle. But on the side, he's very empathetic. He is very genuine about having people feel good about themselves.
Yeah,
and
definitely.
I think that's really that super thing that attracts people to him. He's very, very empathetic like that, and I just love it.
He loves his parents.
Yeah, he does love
That's
his parents.
good. That's good stuff right there.
It sure is. Anybody who
It
loves their
makes
mama
for
and
good
dad,
people.
right?
That's right.
All right. The third one we've got today is you can't talk about coaches without talking about this guy.
Nope.
Grant Cardone. Okay?
All up in your face, Grant Cardone.
I actually, the first time I ever heard of Grant Cardone's name in any of his coaching, I was in the radio world, and I thought, man, is this guy like bold? Like, he was super bold. It's
love
like
it.
And he
slash and burn sales for automobiles.
Yeah, he started out in the automotive business and the car business, but he invested in real estate on the side, which is where he made his real fortune. And today he coaches sales process. He coaches all about sales processes, right? Here's exactly what you do to get it done, and you don't stop and you just go for it, right? It's a lot of that hustle, that Gary Vee was talking about. But Grant is really, he's known for being a real estate tycoon, and also just being this coach that teaches people how to put the sales process together to make themselves successful.
Yeah.
And his message, success. I love this message, by the way. This is from his website. Success is your duty, your obligation, your responsibility.
Yeah, that's cool.
Yes. And now he doesn't say this, real estate investing is the best way to do it, but he does. That's really what he's talking about most. I was going to say, Michael, this is your turn to talk about this, because Grant Cardone is doing what, you guys have a lot in common in the real estate investment world. Yeah.
Here's the thing, right? You make the money in the business and you buy the real estate to make you rich. That's what you do. Okay. That's the formula that everybody should live with, especially in the United States, because it's the wealth preserver. And he understood that. And but he's bold too. And I got to give it to him. Like, I'm a lot bolder than I've been. And now I'm screaming, be bold, because I didn't figure it out until I was like, wait just a dadgum minute. Like, but he did. He started off, he made a lot of money in advertising, marketing. He's an incredible promoter. And then he took that money and he bought real estate that made him like fantastically wealthy. And that formula always works, but I got to give it to him. I mean, he is definitely not afraid to be out there. He's not afraid to be polarizing. That is part of his personal brand. They love me today, they hate me tomorrow, they pay me both days. Like, that is his philosophy, and he's right. And he's super good at it. Like, so
let's sum this up in terms of you who are listening right now, and how does this affect you or help you with building your own personal brand? Tony Robbins, make sure you mesh the professional and the personal together, because people don't do business with a logo. They do business with a person. Gary Vaynerchuk teaches you, go out and hustle. Never forget to be true to yourself first. Don't worry about what everybody else is thinking. You do what you feel is right for you, but don't stop doing it. Grant Cardone, be bold about it. It's like, you only got one life, baby.
Go after it.
Go after it and get it done. So think of those three things when you think of your personal brand and presenting yourself in this world in a manner in which you want to be viewed, because that's really it. When it comes to personal branding, we have a choice of influencing how people feel about us. A lot of the gurus will say, well, your customers will decide what your brand is. I say nonsense. They will if you don't influence that, right?
Right.
Obviously they will. But if you have the opportunity, the responsibility to influence that and say, this is how I want to be viewed in the world. This is how I want people to know me.
This is truly who I am.
Exactly. Be authentic, right? And all three of those coaches are super authentic.
They are that.
Well, hope this helped you guys to see how the biggest in the business are doing it and how that can relate to how you can build your brand. Okay. So hopefully this helps you throughout your day, guys. And
yeah. And hey, we're here to help with that. But Tanya taught me the branding principles that has continued to make my real estate company grow year over year over year over year over year. And now I get to teach with her all the other coaches, podcasters, speakers, real estate agents, entrepreneurs that want to do the same thing and want to grab that life. So subscribe, hit that button right there, because we're going to send you all kinds. Get the notifications turned on so we can send you more information and hopefully motivation to do the same things and put yourself out there, even if it's just for one person that needs it from you. Okay. I like what Grant says. It's your responsibility to be successful, right? And to be a great example. And we can do that. Listen, we do these things for prosperity. We teach these things to you for prosperity. Another reason why we want you to hit that subscribe button. But when we talk about success, we're not just talking about money. That's just one part of the prosperity. We're talking about the full 360 of an abundant life that we truly wish for every one of you. We know at BrandFace that prosperity favors the bold. Learned a lot of that from Grant. So we say, be bold, folks, especially with your brand, especially in 2022. There's plenty of life left in 2022 to make a fantastic splash going into 2023. Thank you so much, Miss Tanya.
You got it. Thank you, guys. We'll see you here next time. Have a great day.
Bye, guys.
Brought to you by BrandFace, the only comprehensive personal brand building system across the globe.